So, anyone new to our community, kindness is our most important value because I think it promotes creativity. It makes the world a better place. Yes, that is true. But it also helps us write and share our stories with each other and trust each other. And so it's really, really important to me as a founder of this company. And as you can see, to many of our community members. But today we're looking specifically at book marketing. And Alexa has a ton of stuff to share with you, where I'm super excited, as you can tell, that she's here. So, Alexa, why don't you go ahead? You can give yourself a better intro than I did.
You know what? I'm going to demonstrate how fun marketing can actually be in action here because I'm so glad that kindness is the word. Y'all are my people. To me, kindness, empathy. The motto of my conference is encourage, empower, support. Like kindness is very important. And I actually I have a children's book publishing company, and one of our books is The Kindness Machine, which if you are a parent or grandparent and have a child that you love, maybe this is a book you want to check out. It's not just about teaching children how to be kind to others, but I think one of the unique elements of this book is that it teaches children how to be kind to themselves as well, which I think that's something that a lot of people need. And our author is a second grade teacher. It's written for that about that age range. Just a really great book. Okay, was that scary? Was that awful? Was that gross? No, see, marketing doesn't have to be gross, bad, ugly, and that's not my book, so I don't have an emotional attachment to it. So a lot of times some of the most fun things that we can do in marketing is collaborations with other authors and talking about books that we love, and have other authors do the same for books that they love. But I have a whole, oh, John, you are so sweet. Just speaking of kindness, that's so amazing. Thank you, John, for those words. All right, I do have a slideshow for you where we're going to get into a little bit more details here, because you know that could have been my entire presentation, but I'm sure you'd like a few more details. Okay, so, and I have a slide at the end which will give you the information on how you get all of these slides, and a little freebie that I have for you as well because I'm very, very passionate about helping authors have fun with their marketing because you have to be able to market your book if you want to sell it. And what in the world is the point of going through all of this if you're not going to sell your book, right? So, tips, tools, resources to maximize your marketing. This is my blah, 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 what we're going to try and cover today, but most importantly, in a way that hopefully isn't painful. So, you know, obviously by the title of it, Make Marketing Fun Again, I'm really trying to capture the people who really just hate marketing or are terrified of marketing. So if you're here because you want to be marketing but you don't know how, or it intimidates you, or you just dread it, then you're in the right place. And for those of you who already love marketing, I'd love to know what you love about it too. So again, I don't want you to hate marketing. I publish rom-com romantic comedies as well, and this was me. I finally got to have a book party with all my friends a couple days before my birthday. I had a blast. It was very self-indulgent. I'm not even gonna lie. I spent way more money than most people would. It was birthday party, first romance book out. It's based on real life events, and I just wanted to have a good time with it. So we did. And having fun launch parties with your friends and family is just one small way of the many tactics that you can do that align with your personality. That is also a very important piece of marketing, is that it's got to be something. You're not going to love all the things, but if you can find the things that you really do enjoy, you'll be much more successful. All right, so those of you who don't know me, this is our first time meeting each other. What makes me good at what I do is that I've done it all. So I'm an author, I'm a publisher, I've done self-publishing, I've helped people write proposals and get traditional deals. I run a podcast, I host a conference for writers and authors. I speak, I market books for myself and for other people. And so, I've had my hands in all of it. So I really truly understand, both as the perspective of a publisher and an author, what's important, but also what's scary and intimidating. And I'm not going to lie, when it goes to launching my books, I don't do half the stuff that I tell other people to do, not because it's not the right thing to do, but because I know and understand how hard it is to fit the time into your life to do all the things to effectively market a book while you're running a business, while you're taking care of a family member, while you're being mom or dad or grandma or grandpa or all those things. Um, I am a mom, and everything that I do is so that I can be flexible and be here with my kids and be a bigger part of their lives than my parents were of my life. I'm a passionate advocate, particularly for authors. I cannot stand to see someone get scammed or be sold something that's just garbage because they didn't know better. So we produce so much content that you should know better by the time you get through all of our stuff. I'm a Francophile, just something fun, and I write my fiction under the pen name Lexi Haddock. So far, they're all romantic comedies set in France. These are my babies when they were babies. Now they are 18, 15, and 13, but they don't like me to show pictures of them now. So this is my why. And I think in this business, you might think, what in the world does this have to do with marketing books? You've got to have a why or you're going to throw in the towel. Your why can be anything in the world, but it's the thing that makes you want to do all these things, right? It's the thing that makes you want to go through the time and energy and effort to write, publish, and sell a book. All right. So I'm going to pull up the chat here, and I really want to know, why do we dislike marketing? And this is a question for you specifically. Why do you dislike it? Or, or maybe what feeling does it evoke when someone asks you about marketing? Shy to promote your own work. I don't know what to do or where to start. Marketing doesn't seem to be working. Aha, it's overwhelming. No one likes to be sold to. Let me ask you, Sandra, did it feel gross the way that I talked about the kindness machine? And it's okay if you say yes. You may have felt like you were okay. No. All right. So this is when it comes to the selling, the neurodivergent and overwhelmed, I totally get. When it comes to the selling, the biggest service that you can do for yourself, and maybe you write it on a piece of paper on the wall and say, I have a book that people want and need. And if you remember that as the first thing, that you are doing people a service by telling them about your book, I think it takes away a little bit of that. And if you get excited, if you really know, you really have to know the benefits of your book. You have to know the themes. You have to know who your audience is. And that's the where to start. I've seen lots of you saying, where do I start? It's knowing who your reader is and why they want or need your book. So, what is it that your book does? And this takes a little bit of time and practice. And I would encourage you, after this webinar at some point in time, to take a few minutes to think about, why would someone buy my book? What is it? Because they're going to get a transformation of some sort? Are you teaching them something? Do you have a children's picture book that focuses on social emotional learning? Do you have a nonfiction cookbook that helps people prepare healthy meals in shorter times? Do you have a just like wonderfully exciting action adventure book that people who love action adventure, or a scary book that people who love thrillers and scary books just want to read because that's what they love? Like, it's going to vary across the genres, but you have to know why people want to buy your book or books in your genre, if that's a little bit easier to say, because I don't want people to go down the bunny trail that's like, well, I don't know why they would want to buy my book. Okay, why would they want to buy books in your specific genre? And that will help you figure out where you start everything. I want to address JC's comment very quickly. There is a lot of information out there, and there's a lot of contradictory information. Okay, so I may tell you something today that somebody else has told you absolutely never ever do that thing. I want you to know that this is my experience. This is what we have found that works, what we enjoy doing, the tools that we have used that our authors have found as we go through this. But it's not a one-stop shop. Marketing is very customized to you, to your book genre, to what you like to do, to how much time, energy, money, all these things. So while you can get an overarching plan, and a good overarching marketing strategy boils down to knowing who your reader is, knowing how to get in front of them, and creating content that gets in front of them. That's your three big things right there. But there's the sky, I mean, there's a million combinations of how, where, when, why, and you know what you're going to do to get there. Do you run pre-orders? Do you not run pre-orders? Do you post on NetGalley? Do you not put your book on NetGalley? Do you blah blah blah? Lots of ways to get to, and it boils down to those two key things: who wants or needs your book, and where is the best place to get in front of them. Okay. All right. So this is what a lot of people are going to tell you, and me too. These are all great ways to market your book. Every single thing on here is a successful tool for marketing your book. But if somebody comes out the gate and says, you've got to blah, all of these things today, get at it, go, 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 you're going to wind up under a desk with a bottle of vodka crying, because this is a lot. It's a lot. It's the overwhelming. Okay. So I want to tell you, a couple times ago when I did my when I asked the question on how marketing makes us feels this is why I write. And these are the words that came back, very, very consistent with what you all said, right? So I want you to know that you are not alone. You are not alone if you feel the way you felt. It is a common thread, and that's why so many people registered for this webinar today, right? Okay. So we're going to get into the meat of it now. If you have questions, if you could please put the word question in front of it, or copy and paste it again at the end. I get very easily distracted, so I'd love to just answer all questions at the end. So I'm actually going to turn off the chat, and we'll hit all the questions at the end. Okay.
I'll help you, Alexa, with questions at the end, so don't worry.
Thank
You
you.
just do your thing.
Okay, great. Okay, so here we go. Again, you're going to get these slides. I just want you to listen to me today. I don't want you worried about taking things down. We'll give you the replay. I assume you're going to get the replay. You'll get the slides. So just be present in the moment. Understand your audience. This can be very detailed for those of you in the nonfiction world. If I'm writing a book for women, for heart healthy, midlife women choices, blah blah blah, like I'm only going to be marketing to women in their 40s, 50s, and 60s who are concerned about having a healthy heart and want to make changes to do that, and they need help in better eating, blah blah blah. Like, you can get really 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 specific on a genre, and you need to really in the self-help and in the transformational and nonfiction and all those types of things. But on the fiction side, don't get so caught up in those things. Just think about what your reader wants from your genre. It's easy. I know my readers because I am one. That's one, first of all. If you're not reading in your genre, how in the world can you possibly know what your genre wants, needs, or what's normal? So read in your genre. Read a lot in your genre. But I know that people who buy romantic comedies, books, they love completely unrealistic scenarios, right? I mean, come on, how many people will meet a billionaire on a weekend away after their life fell apart to pieces, and in 2 nights they fall magically in love with this person who thinks that she's someone else, and they have a big fight, and then they come back together, and then they get engaged and married. Like, unrealistic, but that's the formula. That is the formula. A meet cute, the build up, the conflict resolution, the happily ever after. Readers in romance love the formula. That's all I need to know. I need to know when you then you dig deeper. Okay, so in romance, I'm going to talk about this in particular because it's my genre. You need to know, do people like funny lighthearted stories, or do they want a deeper romance? Do they want closed door, or do they want lots of spice? You cannot combine the people who just want a sweet little, it's pushing the limits if they hold hands in the book. You cannot combine those readers with people who want to basically have nothing left to the imagination. Very, very, very different readers and audiences. And you have to know those things. You have to know what the expectations of the genre are and subgenres. So that's where you do your work. And when you're writing books, this is why it's important to start your marketing even way back in the beginning when you're writing your book, because your knowing who your ideal reader is can very potentially shift how you write and how based on how you're going to market. And this is what I love about Fictionary, because Fictionary teaches you the story arc and what's supposed to happen in those things and whether or not your book is hitting those things. So I want you to kind of think about your marketing in that story arc too. Like if I decide to throw in some in part of my conflict like murder and gore, does that fit with what this particular audience that I think I'm going to be marketing to would like to have? Okay. And then you have your messaging. The messaging is really hard to get right if you don't know who your audience is. So if I didn't know what the specifics of my genre were, which gets down to the beats and to the key things and all those things that we learn about in our writing classes, how could I go out and succinctly tell my audience, I write romantic comedies that are full of wanderlust and nostalgia. They're written in the 90s and early 2000s. They're very lighthearted, and take place in France when an American girl goes traveling and finds a great guy, and there's lots of adventure and those types of things. So I can succinctly talk about my book in a way that gets the people who are excited about those things excited, right? So I love historical fiction. All you have to do to tell me, to get me to buy your book, if this is what you're writing, is say it's historical World War II fiction set in France. Boom, I'm sold. That's it, because that's what I love. So that's, what then it makes it so much easier to build those clear messages and to talk about that book. And when it comes to finding early readers, be willing to give people your book so that you can get feedback, so that you can use that feedback to market your book. It's a whole lot better and easier and less smarmy if I'm posting snippets of what Sally Sue said about how wonderful my book is, as opposed to me. And then I can post it on social, I can post it on my website, I can post it in editorial reviews. Use that content, put it out there so that the rest of the world sees the validity of what other people are saying. And these things will help you with your audience growth, because word of mouth marketing is hands down the best way to sell a book. And we know it if we're readers. I mean, every dang day on social media, I see someone posting, oh, I'm going to the beach next week. What book should I take? I want something that is whimsical or scary or whatever. All the time. I just got an email from my best friends from high school asking if anybody had any good book suggestions. Okay, so one way to stop being nervous or overwhelmed or scared or grossed out by the word marketing is just to remove it from your vocabulary and talk about relationship building. Your challenge is to build relationships with your potential readers. So how do you get there? As I mentioned earlier, there's so many ways, but I want to start with a little myth buster. I'm sure many of you have seen the Kevin Costner movie, Field of Dreams, because, or if you haven't seen the movie, you know the quote. If you build it, they will come. If you build it, they will not come. You have to build it well, market the heck out of it, keep marketing it, get people to talk about it, get other people to invite people there. It just is not going to come just because you wrote 4 books in a series that had other contributors and other people involved, and you did all the things. It's a series, there's lots of people included, all the stuff. Doesn't mean, what I forgot to do? I forgot to market my books. Like, I didn't forget, actually. I just chose not to because I had it stuck in my head that because I'd done all the things, a series and included all these other writers and authors and talked about it on podcasts and things like that, on my podcast, that everybody would just want to buy the book. But I hadn't done the work to really figure out who wanted or needed the book, and I hadn't built an audience of those people. People love the Lose the Cape book, but the most common feedback we get from it is, I really wish I'd had this book 10 years ago when I was having children and had small children. And so what I should have been doing is building an audience of soon to be moms, rather than an audience of already moms. So it really taking the time to figure out who your reader is and crafting your messaging in a way that makes sense for them is the end all be all as a foundation for book marketing. And if you're working with a marketing expert that does not start there, fire them immediately, because there is no such thing as blanket marketing. There is no such thing as just throwing it out there and putting some ad money behind it. You've got to have a good book, first and foremost, a good, well edited, well formatted, great cover, all those things. And then you've got to be talking to the right audiences. All right. So, when marketing really stinks is when you don't have a plan and you don't know this foundation. You don't know who you're talking to, you don't know how to talk to them. You're just throwing stuff out on Instagram. Maybe you're throwing out funny memes to grow your account, but the memes have absolutely nothing to do with what you're doing. Funny content is a winner all the time, but make it relevant to your world. If you have to figure out who that world is. Maybe you're writing children's books and you've decided your perfect audience is homeschooling moms. So if you're using funny memes, it ought to be about homeschooling. And you can really, and using the hashtags and all of those things appropriately will help you build that right audience. It sucks when you don't see any results. And somebody, I saw that in the comments, that someone said, I'm not seeing anything from it. Well, are you tracking your data? Are you looking at your metrics and seeing if what you're doing is helping you? I encourage all of you to start a spreadsheet today and go in and look at all of your social media accounts, your email list, and write down what are today. And then think about what you need to grow that. And periodically, whether it's weekly or monthly, go in and update those so you can see what's growing. And if you're spending hours a day creating content on Instagram and you've only grown your Instagram account by 2 people in a week, then maybe that's not the right place to spend your time and energy. When you have no support, when you have no budget or money, it's not fun. When those things are happening, you're not seeing results, you're stressing because you don't know how to do it. You're maybe promoting things that you don't have the back end set up to do. You want to grow your email list, but you don't even have a lead magnet or a reader magnet, or have any idea what an email sequence is. All these words, I'm sure for some of you, as I'm spitting them out of your mouth, are literally making you just like clam up and like, oh my gosh, it's a lot of work to set this stuff up. Y'all, if it was easy, everybody would be doing it and everybody would be making $1 million. So I'm going to tell you that the one thing that I have seen in years of interviewing people on the podcast, on my summits and other places, the people that are the most successful may not have written the best books. Like, they've written good books and they're edited and they've followed all of those rules, but they're the ones who spent the most time learning the business of being an author. And you have to understand the business of being an author to be a good marketer, because you have to know that you have to have these things and where you're doing. So, okay. Marketing is way more fun when other people are talking about your book. Hands down, that's the best thing in the world. I was so excited after I launched my second book and I went over to Amazon and there were 52 reviews, mostly of people I didn't even know. And I was thrilled with what people were saying. One gal was so invested in my book, she was literally yelling in all caps. She was like, "I was so mad that Lila made this choice, and but it worked out well. She wound up with the best person, blah blah blah." Like, I was reading that, I was delighted because my book had an impact on a reader. If you're so invested in a book that you're yelling in your review about how mad you were about something in a good way, right? Like she was invested in that character and in that book. That is so much fun. It's not fun when you go to Amazon and you see like three one-star reviews and people are like, this sucks. The description has nothing to do with the book. The book is horribly written. Like, so how am I tying this into marketing is that if you're not also considering your production, the writing, the feedback and revisions and editing and cover design and all of those things in your marketing strategy, you can spend all day, every day, and spend $1 billion marketing a bad book, and it will not sell because it's a bad book. So that's, right in there with figuring out who your reader is. Make sure you're creating a book that that reader is going to want to buy and talk about. So it is hard work, but it doesn't have to be miserable. And I'm here to tell you, if you follow a plan and a strategy and collaborate and work with other people and are willing to build a little team to help you, and not that's not completely necessary. Depending on your budget and your time, you may be able to do some things different ways, but you got to have a plan. And I captured some of the moments from our community and from some of our authors about different things that they're doing that is fun to them. Because the other piece about making marketing fun is making sure that it aligns with what is fun to you. Emma St. Clair over here, she absolutely loves her social media. She makes videos, she does Instagram, she has a blast in her community, loves her for it. This was obviously at the in COVID, but there were still live events happening. Some people dread setting up a table and doing a live event. I don't love live events, to be quite honest with you, of this nature. I love going out and speaking and doing things, but I don't want to stand at a table all day long. So that's not where I spend my time or energy in book marketing. We have another children's book author who has started a podcast about ADHD. She's written a book about ADHD for children, and she does reels and her Instagram. I mean, this screenshot I took quite a while ago. I'm sure she's probably close to 15,000 followers right now, but she did this because she created content that spoke to her key audience that people are interested in and that they like, and most importantly, that she likes doing. And that allows her to continue doing it and continue to grow her audience. Um, I told y'all I love Paris. I can't tell you how much fun it was for me to take a trip to Paris to finish research on book two. And of course, while I was there, I took the opportunity to take pictures of my book in front of the Eiffel Tower. Yeah. And so I was having a lot of fun there. I'm involved in a group that's doing a cruise next summer with clean romance writers and or sweet and clean romance authors and readers, where you want to talk about how do you get in front of your readers. Well, this was so smart of Victorine, to just create a cruise that brings together a bunch of authors that write in the same genre and a bunch of readers who love those genres. And wow, how much fun is that going to be? But to a lot of us, this is where the real fun happens. When you go over to your book and you see the bestseller tag, you see 1,300 plus ratings that are 4.5 star. This is where the rubber meets the road. It's what we're all aiming to get to, but you can't get to here without doing some of the things before that. And that's important. You cannot skip the work. I don't have a pill to help you jump from I just finished writing my book to 1,300 reviews, without doing the groundwork to get there. Ooh, time for a secret. Here's my secret. I don't remember what the next slide is gonna say. So we're all ready for a secret. Oh, yeah. It's not a secret though, is it? Everybody knows that the best way to sell a book is to get people to talk about it. So whatever you need to do, good or bad, Y'all, there's some books that have had really bad publicity that sold like crazy because unfortunately, people like negative news and stuff too. I'm not telling you to go create a scandal to get your book to sell. I personally have heard some stories, some things that I find disgusting, and that does not align with what I do. But I'm just saying, negative feedback about your book is not necessarily a bad thing, especially on reviews, because sometimes, believe it or not, those 1 and 2 stars sometimes actually say things that help other people buy the book because something that somebody else was not wanting or looking for might be the thing that another buyer is looking for. So, that's another way to reframe your mindset about reviews. It helps you improve, helps you see what people like about your book and don't like about your book. Read those 1 and 2 star reviews and make the changes to fix them, especially if a 1 star review says something like, by the description, I really thought I was going to be getting a whole bunch of recipes. And instead, I just got a whole bunch of information on how to buy food on a budget to create the recipes. That's important to note. You need to go back and fix that description to adequately describe what the person's getting in your books to help you sell the book better and to not get those bad reviews. What time are we at? 2:30. Okay, doing okay. Um, I interviewed JD Barker, who's a horror and thriller author, and he also writes with James Patterson, who is probably my all-time favorite author. I'll send you money. Okay, thank you. Sorry, one of my children. Um, he did this really cool thing with his last launch, and I just finished his book. If you like thrillers, it's pretty great, about this haunted house called Something I Keep Upstairs. See, look at me. I am marketing Barker right here in a totally enthusiastic way because I enjoyed his book. I've given the book to one of my friends. I posted on social about it. I am a fan because I love what he wrote and it was written well. But this was so cool. He gave away in his build up. Now he is a pretty successful author, so he had the funding to do this. I don't have the funding to do this, but he rented this known haunted house on a secluded island up in the Northeast someplace, and he did a giveaway for 4 people to go spend the night in this scary town. What a phenomenal way to market your book. You're connecting something fun that if people like haunted houses, this is on point with the type of readers. And I actually was a little too scared. I didn't enter the giveaway because I didn't want to actually go stay the night in a haunted house. I like to read the book. I don't want to live the book. So, but things like this make it a lot of fun and make engaging with your readers just great. And it also, most importantly, is stuff that will make people want to share about your launch. So you don't have to go rent a haunted house, but what is something really fun related to your book that would get people wanting to share about your book? And giveaways are a great way to do that. Give away copies, print copies of your book, maybe with a little basket or something. One of my favorite giveaways that I'm going to share with you right now is a book club basket. Now you have to be willing to invest a little bit of money here, and depending on if it's a local giveaway or if it's or you'll have to figure it out depending on where the person's going to be. But let's say you're going to a local event and you want to do a giveaway. You collect people's email addresses, they fill out a little form or whatnot. You make sure there's a little checkbox that says I agree to receive communication from this author, and they win a little basket that has a bottle of wine, or if you're not drinking, not your community, whatever, maybe you put something else in there, some sodas, some little snacks, and 6 print copies of your book. Not only are you marketing, you just got a book club thing, and you ask them to post about it, share about it, let people know, create a hashtag that people are following. So these are the more creative and fun ways to enjoy it. On the nonfiction side, Renee Rebar, who is a sales coach, just launched her first book after like 6 years of working on it. We worked on this bad boy for a long time, but she finally got there, and she did all kinds of giveaways. She collaborated with a bunch of other experts in her industry that gave lead magnets and things to enhance visibility of the giveaway and also increase value. So, for example, she paired up with a bunch of other people who work in the entrepreneur world, and they gave away ebooks and digital products. But she gave away a lot of great things that were relevant, tickets to her Experts Connect, all these types of things. And her marketing, she also used her community to help her as she went through the process of writing her book. So she got buy-in from this group along the way, and she hit number one, like actual, not the new releases, but the actual number one in her category, in multiple categories, and number two and a few more. You can see here she's two and three. So, I am not one of those people who's like, you need to be gunning for an Amazon number one release, because I think there's a lot of ways to create wonderful sales opportunities that aren't necessarily tied. But this is a wonderful marketing tool to be able to show that she was at the top, and especially in competitive categories. Just other fun social media. This is actually the author of The Kindness Machine. Look how cute her page is. She's constantly talking about um, um, reviews that other people have left. She reviews other books. She talks about kindness themes, and she wants all of her books in the free little libraries. Like, she did fun incentives to get people talking about her book and doing things. And then, if this is obviously children's picture books, but posting pictures from the book, showing things, showing what they're going to get, talking about what's in the book, all of those types of things are fun. When we launched Rupert's Snowman, this hands down is my favorite book launch ever. This is published by my children's book company, Purple Butterfly Press, and we went out and found influencers on Instagram that review children's books, but not only that, do adventure, little activities and things for children as well. And these influencers were amazing. This Story Baskets company, they have a lot of followers, and they talk about books, but they create activities to go along with the books too. So this was like, they posted 5 slides that showed the little activity, a snowman activity that you could do. So it's really great and engaging, because if you are marketing to the children's book, to parents of children's books, also being able to give ideas of how you use this book to learn more, to have an activity, to do fun things, it's good for teachers and parents. So again, learning how to show up in front of the right audience. Now, while Pat's book is also an illustrated book, it's really for an older audience. And Pat has done an amazing, and she's now written another historical fiction that is for adult audiences and set during the Vietnam War, with similar concepts um, of empathy and awareness of important events and times in history and all those types of things. And she has gotten all over the place. She was on PBS. She likes to get out and talk about her book. She does a lot of speaking to adult audiences who find this book just as enjoyable, because it is actually written for an older audience despite being illustrated by the granddaughter of a Holocaust survivor. So there's a lot that can be done with the themes of your book, the journeys of your book, and all of those. And this, I can't impress enough to you on how much value you can get from a book tour company that goes and does the hard work for you. They went out and curated lots of Instagram book reviewers, and then you pay the price, you provide the books, they do everything else. And so for however long your tour is, they had about 3 stops every single day where people were posting about the book and tagging me and creating great content that I could repost and share. And it was just great. And that my Instagram account grew tremendously. Now I haven't done a whole lot since then, so it's only, hasn't grown a whole lot, but you have to stay consistent if you're trying to grow. Okay. So I want to know now, and we don't have a whole lot of time to do here because I want to make sure we have plenty of time for questions. But just after seeing this, and this is something you can do later on as well. I want you to just sit down and think about what you like to do. Do you not want to do any of this stuff and you just want to hire somebody else to do it for you? That's okay, but you're probably not going to see the same kind of results, especially in the beginning. I say be involved, boots in the ground in the beginning, and as you grow and are making some money and things like that, then you can start hiring people to do that. But do you like getting out in front of people? Do you like being on podcasts? I want to encourage you for podcasts. Podcasts are pre-scripted in the fact that you get questions ahead of time so that you can prepare. They are edited, so if you make a mistake, they will get edited right out, and they're one-on-one. So if you're nervous or an introvert or shy or any of those things, podcasts offer a great opportunity for you to go out there. And it's fantastic if you don't want to be visually, your face shown on places. Same with a lot of social media. You can create lots of great content and never show your face if that's something that you can. So many cool AI tools now to help you create content quickly and inexpensively, and get it out there. And someone asked about merchandise. I think merch is a great thing to have to go along with your stuff, especially if you're planning on doing influencer boxes, because you can create, oh gosh, I don't have it here with me, but one of my community members sent me her influencer box for her book, which is set on an island, and it came with like coconut flavor scented candles, and some sunscreen, and some coffee mug branded with her book and things like that. That's fun. And as you get more popular and more have more fans, they may want to buy swag with your hashtag or book title or key tagline or something like that as well. And there's lots of ways to do that through dropship companies. So you just load graphics and put things on a website, and you don't have to pay unless somebody buys stuff, which is great. Okay, so here's our key action steps that I want to have as takeaways today. If you learned nothing at all from anything I said today, it's make sure you take the time to know who your reader is, who wants your book and why. And it does not have to be rocket science. Just think basically, if I were the reader of my book, why would I want it? Do I love this genre? Do I need this transformation? Did I suffer a difficult time and there were no resources for me? That's why I wrote my first book. Am I teaching something that people need to know, or a skill set they have? There is a why. There is a why people want and need your book. If there's not, if you can't think of any reason why somebody wants your book, then it's time to write a different book. But how are you going to engage with them and interest them as you talk about it? Seek collaboration opportunities. If you do not know other authors writing in your genre, you need to get out to some conferences, get to some networking events, engage with each other in these communities like you're in, and find out who you can collaborate with, because there's all kinds of fun things that you can do by cross promoting other authors in your genre. The real key is making sure that it meets the specific audience that you're trying to get to, because what you don't want to do is be writing steamy romance and collaborate with people who write clean Christian, because it ain't gonna work. That those just You cannot help each other grow. Neither of your audience wants the other person's thing. So if you write sci-fi and you're trying to collaborate with authors who write early reader books, again, not going to work unless it's both sci-fi. Like, you can do different age groups if the themes are similar. Okay, you can also work with influencers, and so a lot of them review books for just the low price of you sending them a copy of the book. So that's great. Set aside a budget to have some print copies of your book to send out to influencers that are actually talking about books in your genre and have an engaged audience. Use promo companies like the Love Book Tours, or even like Written Word Media. Once your book is posted through Free Booksy or Bargain Booksy, sending out to lists of curated readers. They've already done the work to bring thousands of readers onto an email list that want books like yours. And then make that list of what you do like to do and what you don't like to do, and then hire people to do the stuff you just will never do. don't be afraid. Oops, this is an old. I don't have register for Smash Your Book Launch. However, it's on my YouTube channel. If you go to YouTube, Write, Publish, Sell, you can find Smash Your Book Launch, which goes into a lot more details and case studies. But be willing to try stuff. You never know what you're going to think is fun. You know, back in the day, I hated speaking in front of people. If I had to do a little presentation, I would memorize that thing down to the word, and I would stand up and give my memorized little thing because it made me so uncomfortable. But and look at me now. I love talking to people. You can't get me to stop. So, all right. So after all of this, how does book marketing make you feel now? And go ahead and drop that in the chat. I want to see if you feel, especially if you were one of the people that was really, really nervous about book marketing or didn't like it or felt overwhelmed. I hope that you feel better about it now. Do you feel a little more like you have some ideas? Nobody feels anything? Drop in the chat. I want to see if you feel better about marketing now or how you feel now. Anyone? Did I put y'all to sleep? More ideas. That's good. Still, yeah, it's overwhelming because the reality is you have to sit down and craft a plan. And you're not just going to go out there and do all these things all at once. Like, take one thread of ideas and say, I want to focus on growing my email list. That should always be your top priority, y'all. I can't express anything else that's more important, but unfortunately, it's one of those things that kind of comes with other things. So to grow your email list, you have to do some marketing other ways, et cetera, et cetera. But then you just sit down and you map out a plan. And if you don't know how to do that, that's what people like me are here to help you with. And I'm giving you a free little strategy that may help you at least come up with some ideas or give you some other resources as well. So again, back to the first time I ran this one when we did a little survey at the end of the presentation. These are some of the words that we got from people. They were still like drinking from a hose, let's go, want to try things, overwhelmed. Some people said they felt confused and stupid about the same. So, it's okay again if at the end, twitchy, that you're not quite ready to go. Because there is a lot to learn. You might not even know what some of these tools are that I just threw out at you. Okay. So you've got to start from the beginning and learn. And again, you're going to start with that who and then the how. Okay. Yay. We made it. This is because I
Alexa,
am,
I put your, oh, there we are. Sorry, okay, keep going.
yep.
That.
There's
It's in the,
the right.
it's in the
You
text
dropped
or in
it
the
in there.
chat.
Perfect. Okay, I'm going to need that vodka. I've spent many a nights with some friends, with Jim, John, all those folks out there, Tito's, Wow, that came across wrong. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna, since this is in the slideshow, in the chat, I'm
It's in
gonna.
the chat. I put it in several times. I'm going to go back up and see if I can find the first word question. I love that you said this makes my job much easier to find because there's lots of comments, chat going back and forth, which I also love to see. Okay, I'm going to just start here. Um, from Virginia, I know there's questions farther out, but I'll just start here because this is what I'm seeing. What platforms do you use to engage with your reader aside from social media? So I think this means you personally.
Me personally, well, I wish I could tell you that I do all of those things that I help other people to do, but I really like Instagram. I think it's a very easy place to find people who want to talk about books, and the nice thing about it is you can easily create. So because I write, this is one of my favorite things to do. I love to go to a place for a setting in one of my books. Now, I can tell you about the nonfiction side in a second here too, since that's actually what the majority of my books are. But writing fiction just is a passion. Um, I'd love to go to places. It doesn't have to be France. Some of my books are set place in like uh, DC and other places, but I like going and I like taking pictures of the settings or taking little videos. And then Instagram makes it so easy to create a video with just pictures. You can just take your pictures and put them all in order and slap some music on it and post it out there with the right hashtags, and that's a lot of fun. So, whatever you again have to know what, and a lot of this is trial and error, like what makes your audience want to engage with you, what makes them interested, what makes them want to share, what makes them asking questions. But email, I guess if we go to like where I have the most success and where I engage the most is probably through email. Despite having thousands and thousands of people on our email list, I still reply to personal replies. And that's a thing that my team knows, that like if somebody sends me a personal reply, I reply to those emails. Um, so very important engagement both as an author and as an expert in the industry. But yeah, so you got to experiment a little bit. But Instagram, the thing, so Facebook, a lot of it depends on where your audience is. So first think, okay, if my audience is 40 or older, they're probably largely on Facebook and Instagram. Now, there's a lot of people on TikTok, so depending on what you're doing, if you are a nonfiction author and you're doing a lot of like coaching or teaching people things, TikTok, great place. The algorithm is so smart. It will find your people for you, and you can just create. We have one coach, and she just creates these little videos about the stresses of parenting teenagers, and she puts them out there, and then she cross promotes those over onto other platforms as well. But it's just a matter of pulling out the app and downloading it on your phone and testing it out a little bit and seeing if it, and then being willing to do anything else. If you're here, you've figured out how to do hard things. You've figured out how to write a book. You've figured out how to work with an editor, or you're in that process somewhere. You've figured things out. So you can totally figure out a little bit more and get some help with other people if you don't like doing it.
Okay, so I just want to comment on email lists. So we have a fairly large email list at Fictionary, and what we do for people in the Fictionary community who either are in Fictionary Premium or are using our software, so our paid members, we send out, if they've edited their book in Fictionary, and by doing that, we believe that they've made their book better and then it gets published, we promote it for free to our mailing list and it goes out to a whole bunch of people. We love doing that for people, just as a, not that we're in the marketing business, but we have an asset to do that. You can
Absolutely.
also share your book in the community, in the Fictionary book space, which of course I'm forgetting what it's called at this exact moment, and I should know that off the top of my heart, but that's okay. And then the next question is from Kathy. Do I need a website?
Oh, yes, Kathy. I'm sorry to tell you that. I know a lot of people don't want to hear that. Okay, I need to give a disclaimer that everything comes with caveats. I don't know what your goals are, so I can only blanket say yes. If you are trying to build a business selling books and you want to sell more books and build your audience, you absolutely need a website because for well, I'm going to say three, but I don't know if it's actually three. We'll see how many I wind up. First of all, you need a home base where people can find you. You've got to have that presence on the internet so that when somebody goes out to a search engine and is looking for something, it's another opportunity for people to find your book. Second of all, you need a place where you can send people so you can grow your audience. Do not spend all your time growing an Instagram or TikTok audience and not getting those people on your email list. TikTok shut down for 24 hours. Trust me, I know all about it. I have three teenagers and they were very unhappy. But anybody whose entire platform is on TikTok lost all communications with their audience for 24 hours. You can get banned, your account can get hacked, all kinds of things can happen across social media. But when someone joins your email list, it's magical because one, they have said, I want to hear from you enough that I'm willing to give you my email list. And two, you own that email list. No matter what else happens, you can still communicate with those people in the future. And three, it just looks professional because when you have a domain and you've now created a domain name that goes along, and as you expand, you're going to have reader magnets, you're going to have places that you want to put your reviews, your trade reviews, your editorial reviews. Your blog is another just wonderful way that you can start talking about the concepts of your book or what you're writing about or themes or things like that. So, yes, to me, even if you just start out with a landing page that has nothing more than here's a picture of my book cover and here's what the book cover, I mean, what the book is about, and it's coming next year. Sign up for more information. Even if that's all you have for a little while, at least you have something. And on that note, I'm going to tell you to brand under your name or your pen name, not your book name, because hopefully you're going to be writing more books. And if you have a business, branding stuff under your business is great. Okay.
Okay, we got 3 minutes left. I'm going to do one more
Oh
question
my gosh.
before we head out because I got to cut off right at 3. I'm going to go to Darna, and she says, going back to book promo companies, she missed the names you dropped. Can you repeat those?
Yes, I really like Written Word Media, which has the free Booksy and they have a number of different platforms, but there's a ton of them out there. Fussy Librarians, another great one. If you just Google KDP, I mean Kindlepreneur has a great list of all of them on their website. Google pro email promo list for authors or books or something like that.
Fantastic. Okay, now just tell everybody what happens when they go to writepublishsell.com/fun. I just put the
So,
link up again, so just remind everybody.
and so did I. So we're
Oh,
just
hey, at the
starting
exact
on the
same time. Do
when
that.
you go over there, you're going to find a landing page because I practice what I preach. I create a landing page to get your email addresses, and that will send you at the bottom of it is a form. You put in your name and your email address. You will receive an email automatically with the slides and with my free downloadable marketing strategy. You can unsubscribe at any time, but I hope you'll stay because we send out a lot of good free content and resources.
I
Whew,
feel
we
like
did
you
it.
must be exhausted. Well done, Alexa. Thank you so much for coming and giving us that great show. Look, you're getting clapping from Richard.
Thank
Yay.
you.
Really love that everybody was here. And Alexa, I can't thank you enough for taking an hour out of your time just to come talk to us. Wonderful.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me in front of your community. I really appreciate it.
All right,
And go have
then. Bye,
fun. Have
everybody.
fun. It's fun. Bye.
Let's go have fun. Bye.